Easter Sunday should always be a huge celebration, as we remember Christ bursting forth from the grave, victorious over death. But have you ever stopped to think about the Saturday? What it was like for those first disciples? As a kid, I always used to play games with blindfolds. Good fun. It was always quite scary having a blindfold wrapped around your eyes, so you can't see anything. And on that Saturday, it must have been for those first disciples as if the sun had never risen. Utter darkness. Imagine the questions racing through their head. All the things they'd seen in that final week. That triumphant entry into Jerusalem. Jesus turning over the money tables in the temple. The questions, the arguments he'd had with the religious leaders. The meal they had shared as he redefined the symbols of the bread and the wine. And then how he'd willingly allowed himself to be arrested. All of those questions and uncertainty. And now Jesus is dead. Game over. What do you do with all of that promise? The questions, the shame, the anger, the grief, the sense of loss, the frustration. I think there are times in life, just like that Saturday for the disciples, when we just don't want to worship God. When life is tough, when a loved one dies, when we look around at the mess in the world, when everything seems to overwhelm us. You see, it's easy to celebrate the resurrection when everything is rosy. But it's on those dark Saturdays that we need to remember that Easter Sunday has a twist. That Jesus rose from the dead. That the grave is empty. And as he meets those disciples in that locked room, he says to them, "Peace be with you." Often we can feel like we're blindfolded, stumbling around in the dark. But it's in those moments that Jesus wants to speak hope into our lives and remind us of the peace he offers.